So our next paper is Designing Gender-Neutral Software Engineering Program, Stereotypes, Social Pressure, and Current Attitude based on recent studies. And the authors are Yekaterina, Kovaleva, Ari Happonen, and Eneli Kindsiko. So I would like to request our authors to present their paper. You have plenty of time. So if you need to have more time, you can continue, no problem.
Okay, I'm afraid this presentation would be the same. I mean, the same time consuming as previous one. So I'm not sure if I need plenty of time. But yeah, hello everyone once again. And yes, with our work on hackathons, we actually started to consider the broader perspective of these gender neutral measures and decided to apply to this software engineering education in general and how it would look like. So firstly, our motivation comes from the fact that according to Statista, only 92% of software engineers are men, whereas software is used by all genders. So it's definitely the gap between those who develop this software and the end users. Once again, why we came to this gender neutrality approach. So I already told that both men and women experience the pressure of stereotypes, and studies show that men are not likely to choose feminine products or jobs. So if we make educational program more attractive for females, it could discourage some men from enrolling. And from what I already told you in previous presentation, there are 3 approaches to understand gender neutrality, and there are no genders. The attention is equally paid to all genders and something acceptable for everyone. And how the stereotypes works. We have stereotypes in our society which kind of build social norms we have. So for example, boys are sent to robotics or some more, I would say, aggressive sports, and girls are sent to art classes and dance. So starting from the childhood, boys and girls have different tracks, and it influence on their decision to become to choose the study field as well. If the girls always hear that girls in general are worse in math, they would rather choose something which is more feminine, like humanitarian disciplines. Whereas boys, as I already told, there is a stereotype that boys are better in technical fields, so they would rather choose these directions. Then we have lack of role models in our society, and therefore we once again have stereotypes that if we have less women in computer science, it means that women probably less capable of working with computers, and it is a vicious circle of stereotypes buildings. To encourage women to come to software engineering program, we can work with the stereotypes, and we can implement measures in curriculum, environment, and promotion. So when we are talking about curriculum, it's once again important to remember social contribution which the field brings or study program brings to society. Like, for example, we all know that mechanical engineering has a great contribution to the society, but as it's seen as a car building, women are not likely to go to these mechanical engineering programs. We also need to have relatable examples. So when the professors are working on the materials, they need to remember that people have different background, and they need to show the examples which can be understandable for anyone. Regarding environment, it's also nice to have these discrimination talks and to discuss the problems which men and women experience during their studies, and how this experience could be improved. It would nice to have diverse staff so that women can see these role models, and men also can see these role models to become a professional. It's also important to have neutral interior design. For example, there was a case when the students' union room or hall was full of these masculine items like Star Trek posters and PlayStations and so on. So when the university decided to change this interior a little bit and make it more neutral, women started to feel more belonging, like they felt belonging in this study field. And promotion, during promotion, it's important to understand which myths and fears women and men have about the study program. Like, for example, computer science could be seen as a sleepless programming life, and maybe it's needed to give more details for these potential students, and explain them what their life and career path would look like, and which opportunities they have. Also, it's important to have neutral language in the promotion materials, and also role models should be presented in promotion materials. There should be images of both men, women, and other minorities as well. And the people who are promoting these programs in some offline ways or online as well, they also should be representatives of different groups and different genders. And for further research, it would be interesting to investigate how an online environment affects on this desire of women to participate in these study programs, and would be interesting to focus research on gender neutrality of online teaching. Also investigate how different are cultural fits of these recommendations, and how these recommendations could be adjusted in different cultural contexts. Thank you, and if you have any questions, feel free to ask them.
Thank you very much. So any question or comment, any suggestion from our audience? Okay, so like you mentioned about the social norms for like for the especially I want to say, like, for our country, like we do have the same problem. Especially in the family, the parents actually think that the mathematics, science, STEM-related subjects, they are comparatively hard, and the comparatively hard subjects are not for the girls. Hard subjects are for the boys. Like, so when the children born, usually if the child is a boy child, the parents say that he will be an engineer in his future. But when a girl child is born, no one says that she will be an engineer. So there is a social perspective that this hard subjects is not for our female students. And even sometimes sometimes we say that, like, for STEM related subjects, you want to give more time rather than arts or literature or other subjects. So especially in that cases, like in our country, it's mainly rural area based country. So actually parents didn't get motivated like for the university, and they need to send their girls to some other places. And usually they don't feel comfortable to send their girls to another city to pursue their studies. And like we also mentioned about lack of role models. I think this is a very much important thing. Like in our country, in Bangladesh, from 2018, children are going to the International Robot Olympiad. So as I mentioned about like International Collegiate Programming Contest or International Mathematics Olympiad, especially we found that most of the in ICPC, all our females are also in International Math Olympiad, International Physics Olympiad, in Junior Science Olympiad. Rarely we get female participants. But like when I am talking about International Robot Olympiad, in the very much in the first team, we sent 8 students to Philippines to participate. And in the 8-member team, there were 2 girls, and both of them actually got an award in the international competition. I found that these 2 girls, they are from school, but they are actually now the role model to other students. In last year, in 2021, the main program was in Korea. It was supposed to be held in Korea, but for the pandemic, it was held online. And in our country, we had total 16-member team, and we got like 50%, 8 are male or 8 are females. So I found that when a student of my school or my town, if she is a girl doing great, actually she is acting as a role model to other students. So actually the role model term is different. Sometimes our mate, our friends, they can act as a role model. Sometimes our teachers, sometimes our parents, sometimes even the celebrity person actually can be our role model. Yeah, and in a study, actually, I found that the people are saying that the celebrity or the teacher uh, influences less. Rather, our peer members are most influencing more to be a role model. And sometimes the girls think that if my friend or if my sister or if my neighbor can do, why not I can do? Yeah, so I think like role model can play a great role to encourage our women to participate in software engineering programs. Any comment or any suggestions?
Well, in Finland, I can say we have a similar things. For example, if either of mom or dad is an entrepreneur, we know by statistics that there is a higher likelihood that the children could go in that path. And also we have seen in hackathons when you invite companies to participate, if we have a speaker presenting to company who is female, the audience have different approach than if it's a male. So there is definitely a aspect of role models which can be seen in many other courses also. I invite a lot of company people talking about their everyday working life, and one of these quite successful female CEOs has been a few times talking about her day, and let's say she has been opening eyes for a lot of students, both men and female alike, giving the impression that the path of CEO in your own company when you do a startup is not easy, but anyone can do it if you really want to.
Exactly. Any other comment or concern? Okay, and I would like to also share one of my experiences. Like, as I'm a faculty member of our one public university, Dhaka University, and it is the oldest university of our country. It's 100 years old. So sometimes we do arrange some motivational programs for our girl students, especially for like CSS students who are in like their first year or in second year, and sometimes to motivate like for the college level students, we do also arrange some programs, especially for the female. So in our program, actually, one student, the student is in the second year of the university, and she was expressing that, yes, I wanted to pursue my study in computer science, actually, but my parent were not much interested. They were saying that you have to go to another place, and also the computer science is very much hard subject. You have to learn programming, and these are very much hard things. But she has the willpower, and she actually told them, yes, no, I can do. So if my brother can do, I can also do. And like they were telling that if you want to arrange motivational session, you better arrange a motivational session for our parent. We are already motivated, but our parents are not motivated. And if I am married, especially in rural areas, our girls are married in very small ages. So like my husband is not motivated, my brother is not motivated, my parent is not motivated. So actually you need to motivate them. And I think if they are motivated, we can actually go ahead. So this is one of the perspective that they actually shared with us, that they want to do something, but they are not allowed to do. I think Vandana wants to say something.
Yes, hi, Lefa. I think that's an excellent point. You know, in some of my work here in the US, we are actually talking about integrating family nights, and we're doing this in underrepresented minorities, which includes rural populations. And so if the parents are not aware, especially in K through 12, so, you know, as part of our work, we are creating events and material that we can share with the parents, who then have a big role along with educational counselors as to what the students will take in the future. So yeah, I think that's an excellent point.
Yeah, I agree. Like I've seen the study where the parents were surveyed. Firstly, they were asked if they want to be involved in making decisions about their child education. They were saying like, yes, I am. And then they study, and they were introduced in how many opportunities their children have and how many study directions there are. And when the parents actually know how many options their child can choose, they didn't want to make this decision and pressure their children. So if they know what are the opportunities, they will not be focusing on the only one.
Yeah. Thank you very much, Yekaterina, for your presentation. So now